All right, and welcome to this month's anime paint night. This is Mr. Kelvin again, and we're actually going to be doing our paint night for Kirby, favorite game character. So inside the kit, you should have a Kirby head, 6 dots and such. All right, you should have Kirby feet, left and right, I promise. Then we have the arms, left and right, hard to tell. And then you should have copy ability crowns. Now, I'm only showing you the one that I'm using, but you should have like 5 that you can choose from. And in addition, you should see a reference sheet. And each of those should have some dots. Now, you also have these brads. They're gold and a watercolor kit. I definitely recommend having some water, an extra piece of paper to dry the paintbrush on. But without further ado, let's get started. All right. Now, for the first thing, I can't even tell you why I started with the feet, but here I am, starting with the feet. And I start putting the red on, and then I forget, oh yeah, I'm doing Ice Kirby. So I'm going to actually try to use the red, mix it with the blue to make some purple. Because, historically, Ice Kirby has purple feet. So take your time with it. I didn't mention this before, but, the limbs, like the arms and the feet, they should have dots as well. But the crown should also have dots. And it should line up, even if it's just a little bit. There should be a hole that lines up with the 2 that are at the top of your Kirby head. But you can start wherever you'd like. I like to start with the feet for some reason, and then you can start moving on. I'm not going to show you like me coloring both of the feet. There's really no reason for that. So after you get onto the feet, you can move on to the next limb. Okay, and for our next one, we're going to work on the arms. Now, yet again, not going to show you me coloring both of the arms, but take a moment and, remember that you can make this as creative as you want. You don't have to make Kirby like pink. It can be red, you can be yellow, you can be blue, you can be orange, whatever color you want. It's totally fine. And feel free to add your own creative spin to it. I like to add some darker watercolor on like the outer edges of the arms, and also, just for the effect, and then making it a little bit lighter. I tried to do that with the feet. I don't think I succeeded very well, but yeah, we have you'll see right here, the darker color are on the edges, and then what I'll do is I'll lighten up the strokes so that it can have like a little bit of a gradient on the inside. Get some water, get some paint, put it on the paper towel, and then just a little bit lighter, some more water to lighten it up. Now you have a little bit of a gradient. So you can try that on any portion of your Kirby if you'd like. Alright everybody, now our next target is actually going to be working on Kirby's eyes. Now, something to keep in mind, remember, the top circles that are on Kirby's eyes, leave them white. I would recommend that because that's supposed to represent the shine in his eyes. So when you actually color the eyes, just, color around the top circle. And also recommend color around the bottom triangles that are in his eyes. We'll cover those a little bit later. But, I understand. It's a watercolor paintbrush, and sometimes it's a little hard to do the details and stuff, depending on your skill level. I know I struggle. So one of the things that I recommend, instead of doing full strokes when working on the eyes, do a little a poke, a little bit of a dabbing. Basically, if you do the little pokes with the paintbrush, it's watercolor, right? It'll distribute to the areas that you're trying to cover because it's water. It's going to try to seek out. So that's what I'd recommend. And eventually we'll move on to our next target. Next, it's time to work on Kirby's body. So I'm using blue because I'm using my Ice Copy Ability crown. So it's a larger surface area. I know it's a small brush, but one of the ways that I kind of supplemented the fact that it's a large area, I would use a lot of water using a lot of water helps spread the paint a little bit further, and you don't have to necessarily work as hard. Similar to what I did with the arms, you'll actually see me doing the same strategy of darkening up on the edges and then lightening up as I come inward. But yeah, eventually it'll fill up the space, but this part is probably the longest, arguably, depending on what crown you choose. So just be patient. If you want, you can have Kirby be pink all the way through, or you could have him be whatever color you want. But yeah, just take your time and you'll get to the end point. Next, we're going to actually go back to the eyes, because the bottom shading that we're going to do for the eyes is usually purple or blue, historically, for Kirby. The top circles, they usually stay white because the shine of like Kirby's eyes. But the bottom part, we usually have like this dark purple or dark blue, just to have a little bit of depth. And our next target is going to be Kirby's blush. Now, those little ovals that are underneath Kirby's eyes, yeah, make sure you color those in too. Since I'm doing Ice Kirby, it's usually like a dark blue or a purple, but traditionally Kirby's blushes are usually red if his body is pink. But, whatever color you'd like to choose, you can edit it however you want. However you see the blushes would fit for whatever color you made Kirby. Alright, and the last thing that we're going to paint is our crown. Now, I'm doing Ice Kirby, so I'm just going to be traditionally doing the colors that, correspond with Ice Kirby. So usually the base of the crown is yellow, while the top part, is ice. But you should also have 4 other copy abilities. The headband looking one belongs to Fighter Kirby. He does like martial arts and a lot of Street Fighter-esque moves. Then we have Sword Kirby, which is the one that kind of looks like a sleeping cap or a nightcap. If you use Bomb Kirby and Kirby Superstar, it's actually blue, so depends on whichever color you want to make it. You can always look that up, right? Then we have Fire Kirby. Fire Kirby is kind of like the crown. If you flip it around, it kind of looks like a beard. But yeah, we have Fire Kirby. And then you have this clown hat looking one. And that it belongs to the copy ability Beam. Beam or Mirror. Depends on what game you're looking at. I definitely recommend looking at your Kirby reference sheet. And if you want to see a little bit more, you can always go on the Kirby wiki page and you'll be able to see some different color variations for some of the copy abilities. Kirby Superstar Ultra is a good jumping off point to looking at different variations of copy abilities that kind of like have the similar crown. So take your time and you can figure out what you'd like to color your crowns as. Because, yeah, a lot of variations. Even Fighter Kirby, there's a variation called Suplex, where instead of the headband being red, it can be purple. That's enough Kirby lore for you. Now, as you can see, my base part is done. It's all colored up with yellow. I'm going to color the inside portion of the jewel with gold, and then I'll continue on coloring with the rest. Now, I usually like using a little bit of the gradient with the blues and the purples for the jewel, but you'll see what I mean in just a few moments. But whatever Kirby copy ability you have, whatever you decide to choose, don't feel pressured to do it like the most accurate or however like oh, but the website or the reference sheet says it has to be this color. No, you can do whatever color you'd like. You can do like whatever you feel is comfortable for you. So take your time. Alright, so after the jewel, we're going to actually start working on the ice. Now, instead of the jewel, where it was like a lot of deep blue and a little bit of purple, instead I'm going to have it kind of light blue for the ice, because ice is right. Usually it's pretty clear, translucent. It's water, but we're not gonna make it just like white. So I'm gonna have a little bit of a lighter blue. Use a lot of water to spread it around, and in addition, for the jewels or the icicles, not all of them will be fully colored, just so it looks like there is that little bit of a shine, like there's light shining down on the ice. But you'll see, it's kind of following the same pattern that we were doing with the body of Kirby, how the inner portion is a little bit darker while the inside is lighter. This is just a more extreme of that. The outside is still darker than the inside. It's just the lighter most is just white. So yeah, have a little bit of shine if you want to. But yeah, I like Ice Kirby. Ice Kirby's cool. He ice skates and stuff. Yeah. Well, we've got all of our pieces colored, right? So now we've got to actually put little Kirby together. So get all your pieces together and get the gold brads, all right? Now, making sure that when you like put a brad through, don't do it on the top. Make sure the limb goes underneath the body of Kirby and then put the brad through. Make sure that the brads are nice and straight so that the limbs are kind of locked down like that. And then just repeat the process for every like part of the limb and such. So you got your arms. Yep, there you go. Then if you get your feet, get a brad for that. Put it behind the body like so. Put the brad through. If you can get it through, unlike me. Smooth it out. There you go. And then get your other foot. There you go. Then you've got Kirby basically after you get it secured. And as you can see, the feet can move. The arms, he barely has arms, so he can't really move the arms. But, and the last thing, we got to make sure we don our crown. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to give you all brads instead of like gluing down the crown was because now you have the opportunity to change out which copy ability you like. And, I get it. Sometimes it'd be like, wait, my Kirby is like colored to be like blue, like Ice Kirby, but I got a headband. But it's okay, I promise. So yeah, he can move his little feet, and he looks really, really cute. But we can't forget, Kirby has to have a little mouth. So make sure you get a black pen or a black Sharpie, what have you, and add a little mouth. But thank you so much for participating in this Bump's Anime Paint Night. I know it was very like crafty and stuff, but I'm very, very happy that you're able to pick it up and have fun with it. We'll see you next month, and have a good one. All right now, bye-bye.